my guitar got smashed. It sounds silly, but that guitar was my first own proper guitar. I even named it, Baby Blue she was called. I was still learning, my chords were still a little scrappy as I kept on hitting extra strings and my fingers still couldn't move fast enough between a F-sharp M7 and a B7. I was still trying to do my best, mainly to impress my dad. I took it to the youth club, my safe place. The sun shone on the deep blue paint when I put it down to get my phone from the other room. I was gone for roughly 45 seconds when the top room emptied and I was simply just told, Paige, your guitar. I flew into frustration at the thought of one of my precious strings snapping. They are a pain in the ass to replace. I walked into the top room only for my annoyance to be replaced with a sinking feeling. I quite literally crumbled to the floor as I seen my precious Baby Blue, a pile of broken wood on the floor. Her head had been ripped off and her strings were snapped and splayed out. I failed to pick her up multiple times as my hands shook and my vision blurred. I could hear the thoughts of the people around me, people who didn't know me that well thinking it's just a guitar, to my friends and cousins thinking she loved that guitar with everything she had, which was true. At that point in time, that guitar was one of the only objects I cared about deeply. She went everywhere with me, I learned with her. I had only had her for around 4 months, but I loved that fucking guitar. It sounded magical, it sounded different from any other guitar I'd heard. Sure, she's just an acoustic, but she was a Brunswick Rodeo Series. Those things are damn expensive. I started to get angry. No one was owning up to it, but one name was going around from everyone that witnessed it. One of the workers held me back, like I was going to actually batter the kid. After I calmed down a little, I had picked up my smashed guitar, held it to my chest and stood in front of everyone and simply said, you guys really don't understand what this guitar meant to me, do you? This was one of the only things I cared about, and now it's destroyed. All I recommend is whoever it was tells me before I find out. After that I put her back in her case, struggling to keep the splayed strings, and as I zipped it shut, that's when my phone rang. My mom had phoned to ask something I can't even remember, but immediately knew something was up. I told her, choking on my words. She wasn't mad, surprisingly. My dad then phoned after her. My mom had told him. He offered to go to my favorite restaurant, Old Salty's, with me. I felt too sick for that, so I declined. I just took my guitar home, gave it to my dad so he could review, then went out with my best friends as they tried to cheer me up. It worked until I got home again. I took Baby Blue out of her case and stared at the mangled mess on my bedroom floor. I still have her, in hopes I can attempt to fix her.